morning from Hidden Farm Road on a beautiful sunny April 2nd. I greet you with the peace of Christ. May it be with you. Let us take a moment to silence ourselves and still and quiet within us any voices, any thoughts, any things that weigh heavy on our hearts and our minds, and our bodies, that we might be more fully open to the sacred presence within us and around us this day. As I mentioned last evening, April is National Poetry Month, and we're going to be sharing some poems over time. And one of those that I want to read to you this morning is about a labyrinth. And I don't know, maybe some of you have walked a labyrinth at times. It is an ancient symbol, path, that circles in and around to the center and then comes back around the same way, but in that centering moment to stop and reflect there. I've talked about the labyrinth being the school year. I was reminded of that when I was in Marshfield at the church, and we actually had a labyrinth at the church, a prayer path that we walked, and the kids, one of the middle school kids talked about it being like the school year, where you walk in, the front doors, one person, and then as you circle through all those hallways and classrooms and schedule changes, when you leave at the end of the year, you come out a different person. And I thought that was very insightful. Labyrinth is that sacred. It's a sacred thing, a path for us all to walk, whether literally on a labyrinth, in its many forms in churches and retreat centers, but it's also a metaphor for our life and walking. The Psalms are full of poetry and imagery, and one of those that I think is, in some ways, speaking of that labyrinth walk, is Psalm 23, and I want to share that with you this morning. Again, from Nan Merrill, who writes Psalms for the Praying, and she took Psalm 23 and she writes, "O my beloved, you are my shepherd. I shall not want. You bring me to green pastures for rest and lead me beside still waters. Renewing my spirit, you restore my soul. You lead me in the path of goodness for love's way. And even though I walk through the valley of the shadow and of death, I am not afraid, for you are ever with me. Your rod and your staff, they guide me. They give me strength and comfort. You prepare a table before me in the presence of all my fears. You bless me with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the heart of the beloved forever." I think about that psalm and its message and poetry. When I teach at the middle school here in McFarland at Indian Mound, I often sub in the 8th grade unit, and over the years that I've been with the school district, I've been blessed to be invited to be a guest teacher during the poetry unit. And one of the things as the students study poems in its many different forms, and they read the Bronx Masquerade that has some excellent poetry in there. They're also invited to write poems and share them. And so I took a stab at writing a poem. I like poetry, but I've never written. But the one that my first poem I wrote was about walking Hidden Farm Road as the labyrinth, and I wanted to share it with you this morning. I have to get my paper ready. Excuse me. Walking the labyrinth called Hidden Farm Road. Some sacred paths wind round and round until we find ourselves in the center. Some follow the straight and narrow path to the pearly gates. Others lead us through dark, shadowy valleys that feel like death until we emerge beside still waters and green pastures. The sacred path I walk leads out of a subdivision, up a small hill, past an old apple orchard, around a bend, and back to the farmhouse beside the inviting meadow of wildflowers. Each step sacred, each stone waiting to be turned over. And what hidden treasures lie in wait? A bluebird, an owl, a deer, an eagle, a wildflower, a buckeye. Each a sacred gift, an offering, a promise, a hope. An invitation to ponder, to reflect, to dream, to heal, to pray. What lies hidden on Hidden Farm Road? Perhaps the most holy of all things, hidden deep within you and within me and within all of creation. Amen. May the Lord be with you this day and watch over you and keep you safe and in the loving arms of the Eternal One, the Beloved, of who we all are a part. Blessings on this beautiful day. Get out and walk and discover your own labyrinth. Amen.